Have you ever felt ignored by the universe? Have you ever asked for a sign, an answer, a direction, and all you got was silence? What if I told you that silence was never real? That the answer was always there, but you just didn't know how to hear it? There is a key, a simple shift in posture that completely transforms the way reality responds to you. It's not about visualizing, begging, or waiting passively. It's about commanding. A single command, spoken with authority and certainty, makes the universe bend to your vibration, and that command is, nothing can resist my command. In this video, you're going to learn how to access this state of power and apply the technique that has been transforming lives in a matter of hours. And to begin opening the channel of manifestation, write in the comments right now, nothing can resist my command, and feel the energy start moving from this very moment. Jacobo Grinberg was a Mexican neuroscientist who dared to explore territories traditional science avoided. While others searched for answers only in the physical brain, Grinberg dove into consciousness and discovered that external reality is just a reflection of what we carry within. He called this the neuronal field, an invisible structure where thoughts, emotions, and intentions weave together to form what we perceive as reality. Grinberg proved that the mind doesn't just interpret the world, it creates it. And this changes everything. Your financial, emotional, and spiritual reality is not being imposed from the outside in. It is being projected from the inside out. Alongside Grinberg, thinkers like Neville Goddard echoed the same truth. You don't ask God, you command. According to Goddard, your imagination is God in action. There is no separation between you and the divine. What exists is a vibrational field that responds directly to your emotional frequency and inner language. This video is not about magic, superstition, or luck. It's about applied consciousness. It's about taking the position of creator, not victim. And it all begins with a new kind of question, asked from the right place. The great frustration of those seeking spiritual guidance or trying to manifest something in life is feeling like the universe is silent. Many ask with sincerity, pray, affirm, visualize, and still nothing changes. It feels like there's an invisible wall between desire and reality. But the truth is, the problem is not the absence of an answer. It's in how the question is asked, and above all, in the vibrational state of the one asking. Most people approach the universe as emotional beggars. They plead for a sign, a blessing, a chance. But they don't realize that this type of request carries within it the frequency of lack. When someone says, "Please, universe, help me," what is being transmitted energetically is, "I don't have yet, I am still far away, I am still small before what I desire." And the universe, as a perfect vibrational mirror, reflects exactly that state of need. Jacobo Grinberg, in studying mental states and the structure of reality, concluded that what we perceive of the world is not the world itself, but a projection of our own mind within a field of possibilities. This means that if your mind vibrates doubt, need, and anxiety, it cannot interpret or attract any clear answer. You may even be receiving responses, but you are too out of tune to notice them. Neville Goddard used to say, "Feeling is the secret." In other words, it's not what you say, but what you feel as you say it. When you ask in fear, fear is what manifests. When you ask in absence, absence expands. And the more you ask, the more you feed the cycle of waiting and frustration. This happens because the universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe is real now. That's why the answer is never absent. What's missing is the right tuning to perceive it. Imagine a radio. The station is broadcasting, but if the dial is off frequency, all you'll hear is static. Most people are stuck in that static, trying to find signs while in a vibrational state that completely blocks reception. The first step to break this pattern is to change positions, from one who begs to one who declares. Instead of saying, "Please, universe, help me," say, "I command the answer to come now, and I know it has already been released." This internal shift changes everything, because the universe does not respond to the voice that speaks, but to the vibration that commands. Once you understand this, silence no longer exists. What remains is learning how to hear the reflection of what you yourself are projecting, to understand why the universe responds to our commands and not to desperate pleas. You must dive into Jacobo Grinberg's discoveries about consciousness. Unlike the traditional scientific view, which limits the mind to the physical brain, Grinberg saw reality as a vibrational construction shaped by the interaction between the individual and an invisible field, which he called the neuronal field. This field is not something outside of us, but a subtle matrix that connects mind, perception, and existence. Everything you see, feel, and experience is not reality itself, but a reflection of how your consciousness is tuned within this field. It's as if reality were a screen, and your mind the projector. What's inside is what manifests outside. Grinberg demonstrated that reality is not fixed, but plastic. This means that by altering your state of consciousness, your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, you literally begin to shape a new version of the world around you. Not through magic, but through tuning. The neuronal field is like a multidimensional frequency that organizes events, situations, people, and answers according to the vibration you emit. Now think about this. If your internal vibration is doubt, fear, or scarcity, the field around you reorganizes to confirm and reinforce that perception. In other words, the more you feel it's impossible, the more you experience a world where doors seem closed. But when you change that pattern and assume a posture of command, the field reorganizes everything to reflect this new certainty. This is the real power of the command. Nothing can resist my command. Ding! When you say this phrase with conviction, you are reconfiguring your neuronal field. You are declaring that you are no longer a victim of reality. You are its creative center. And the field, obedient, responds. This perspective also explains why visualization alone often fails. Visualizing without altering the inner vibrational state is like projecting beautiful images with a poorly calibrated projector. The result is distorted, weak, incoherent. That's why the key is not to see, but to feel and declare with authority. The command has the power to calibrate the projector, your mind. So the field immediately reorganizes the image of your life. When you understand that the neuronal field is moldable and that your mind is the creative tool of this invisible web, you stop waiting for miracles and begin consciously creating them every single day. Some words carry energy, but there are phrases that go beyond language. They are vibrational codes. And among these, one stands out for its simplicity, strength, and immediate effect. Nothing can resist my command. When spoken in the correct vibrational state, this phrase is not just an affirmation, it is a decree. And decrees don't ask for permission, they reorganize reality. But why does this phrase work? Because it flips the position most people assume before the universe. Instead of begging for attention, it places the individual as the direct channel of creation, aligned with the source of reality itself. When you say, "Nothing can resist my command," you merge with the creative flow of the universe, assuming your spiritual identity as co-creator of existence. This phrase carries three elements that make it incredibly powerful. Certainty. It doesn't say, "I hope this works." It declares, with conviction, that reality responds immediately and without resistance. Authority. The use of the word command places you in the role of active vibrational emitter, not passive receiver. Universality. The phrase applies to every area of life. It can be used to manifest clarity, answers, resources, paths, healing, intuition. There are no limits because the field responds to the force of intention, not the content of the request. Jacobo Grinberg showed that consciousness shapes the structure of reality through its interaction with the neuronal field. This means that what you vibrate as you speak is what manifests. By repeating this command in a state of presence and surrender, you reconfigure your field to reflect a new structure. Neville Goddard also warned us about the difference between praying and commanding. For him, you should never beg the divine. You should assume the divine is already within you. Thus, the phrase becomes an affirmation of your spiritual nature, not a desire born of lack. But here's the key. It's useless to repeat mechanically. The power lies in the emotional state with which you declare it. When you say, "Nothing can resist my command," you need to feel as if reality is already responding. It's not a future request, it's a present fact. This command is a portal, a turning point. It breaks the cycle of waiting and opens the state of conscious manifestation. When you pronounce it truthfully, you stop waiting for the world to change, and you start seeing it respond to your vibration immediately. One of the greatest revelations for those who apply "nothing can resist my command" is realizing that the universe responds quickly, often in less than 24 hours. But what prevents most people from recognizing the answer is that they expect something grand, supernatural, unquestionable, when in fact, the universe whispers. It speaks through patterns, details, and synchronicities. Jacobo Grinberg taught that reality is a mirror of the mind. That means everything you perceive around you is part of your own perceptual structure. When you issue a command with authority, that structure begins to reorganize itself to reflect the new vibration. What once seemed invisible now appears, but only for those who are paying attention. Here are the 4 main channels through which the universe responds quickly. Numerical synchronicities. You give the command at night and the next day you look at the clock and see 11:11, 22:22, or other repeating sequences. You open a message at 8:08 and feel that content is the answer you asked for. This is not coincidence. It's the field saying, "I am moving." Numbers are vibrational codes signaling alignment. Unexpected words in casual conversations. You're at a cafe and overhear someone say exactly the phrase you needed to hear. A friend calls you and, without knowing your question, gives advice that hits directly on what you asked the universe. Those words didn't come from them. They came from you, projected into the field. Intuition and inner impulses. Sometimes the answer doesn't come from outside, but from within. You feel sudden clarity. A thought that once seemed confusing organizes itself. An impulse to act, send a message, make a decision, appears out of nowhere. But it's not nowhere. It's the vibrational reflection of your command, translated as intuition. Symbolic dreams. If you give the command before sleeping, the field can respond through dream imagery. You dream of being guided, of finding a key, of opening a door. These scenes are not random. They are metaphors created by your subconscious to show you the open path. Grinberg called this state an expansion of perception. The most common mistake is doubting what is already showing up. A person sees the number, hears the phrase, feels the impulse, but says, "Is this really it?" That doubt blocks the flow. The secret is to recognize firmly. When you see the sign, declare inwardly, "This is my answer." That declaration reinforces the field and more answers come. The answer is already approaching. The only question is, will you notice? Knowing the universe responds is liberating, but learning how to make it respond with precision, speed, and clarity is what transforms lives. That's why now you'll learn a simple yet extremely powerful practice known as the immediate response technique. It has 3 steps: ask, command, and release. And when done correctly, it initiates a vibrational response process that breaks stagnation in any area of your life. Step 1. Ask with clarity. Most people don't get answers because they don't even know exactly what they're asking. The universe responds to clarity, not confusion. Take a piece of paper and write down a single question, direct and specific. No generalities like, I want to be happy or I need help. Examples. Universe. What's the next step to increase my income with purpose? Universe. Show me if this decision aligns with my path. Write only one question, one focus, one frequency. Step 2. Command with authority. After writing your question, enter a calm state. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Feel centered. You can do this before sleeping or during a quiet moment of the day. Now, visualize as if the answer were already on its way. Imagine yourself receiving a clear sign, a revealing conversation, an unexpected message, and feel the certainty of it. Then, pronounce the phrase, "Nothing can resist my command. The answer is mine today." Say it out loud, if possible, with firmness, presence, decision. You are not wishing, you are activating. This phrase carries the frequency of creation. It is a vibrational code that breaks blockages and aligns the neuronal field, just as Jacobo Grinberg showed. Step 3. Release with confidence. After giving the command, don't grow anxious. Don't chase the sign. Release it. Go live your life with attention and lightness. The field has already begun to reorganize. Observe conversations, times, spontaneous thoughts, dreams. And when something touches you differently, trust. Declare inwardly, "This is my answer." That recognition seals the manifestation. The whole practice can be done in less than 5 minutes. But what it activates in you has the power to shift decisions, open paths, and create opportunities with surprising speed. The secret is not in complexity, but in the vibrational consistency with which you perform each step. And remember, this process is not done as a test. It is done as one who knows. Because the universe does not respond to doubts, it reflects certainties. The command works, the answer comes, the signs appear. But then what? Most people treat spirituality as an emergency resource, something to reach for only when life spins out of control. But those who deeply understand what Jacobo Grinberg and Neville Goddard taught know this. The universe is not an occasional rescue. It is an ongoing conversation. Living in constant dialogue with the universe is more than applying a technique. It is adopting a new vibrational posture toward life. It is understanding that you are never alone, and that everything around you is in constant response to your frequency. Reality becomes an active mirror, adjusting not only to what you want, but to what you assume to be true about yourself. Jacobo Grinberg showed that reality manifests through individual perceptual structures. This means your mind is a creative filter. Everything you feel, think, and affirm is projected into the neuronal field and returns as circumstance. Thus, dialogue with the universe does not depend on complex rituals, but on the quality of what you emit at all times. Neville reinforced this with striking clarity. The outer world is the crystallized reflection of the inner world. Your state of being determines events, not the other way around. That's why the secret is not to talk to God once in a while, but to inhabit the state of one who is in constant communion with the divine. How to do this in practice? Make the command a daily habit. You don't need to wait for a problem to arise to declare, "Nothing can resist my command." Use this phrase to start your day, to prepare for a meeting, to affirm your confidence before sleep. Each time you use it with real feeling, you are tuning into the frequency of certainty. Cultivate sensitive listening. The universe responds in details. Train your perception to notice coincidences, words, inner impulses. With each recognized synchronicity, the channel strengthens. You begin to live guided, not lost. Live as if you already are. The most powerful command you can give is not in words, but in how you act. When you live as if you are already aligned, the universe understands. This vibration is stable, and then it responds with stability. This is the essence of constant dialogue. It is not asking and waiting. It is assuming and living. It is becoming the type of person for whom abundance is natural, for whom signs are obvious, for whom the invisible is as trustworthy as the tangible. You are not just creating a new reality, you are creating a new relationship with it. And that changes everything, forever. Now that you know the power of the command, the structure of the neuronal field, and the way the universe responds, the responsibility is in your hands. You no longer need to wait for more signs or for an external change. Transformation begins with an inner decision. Today you learned that the universe does not respond to doubts. It reflects certainties, that the world around you is a mirror of your vibration, and that by declaring with authority, "Nothing can resist my command," you activate a new frequency capable of reorganizing your entire reality. The next step is to apply. Choose a question, give the command, watch the responses, and most importantly, live as one who is already in tune with the life you wish to manifest. And if this message touched you, declare in the comments, "Nothing can resist my command." This will be your anchor, your public commitment to the vibration you are activating from now on. Subscribe to the channel to keep receiving content that expands your consciousness and helps you live in alignment with the reality you deserve. You've already taken the first step. Now, keep walking. The universe is listening, and it has already begun to respond.